Hello there, I am Yatin Mota. Welcome to this Money Control live broadcast, closing bell. Obviously, when you talk about the stock markets taking cue on the global front, we have seen a very strong move coming in for the markets. In fact, the Nifty surged above that 25,000 mark, gaining by nearly 200 points. When it comes to Sensex, we had a 600-point rally coming in for that benchmark index. Obviously, the mid and small cap indices were also witnessing some good buying. In fact, the mid-cap index on the NSE was up nearly 0.5%, and the advanced decline ratio also, trading around 4:3 kind of level. So 4 advances for 3 declines. So when it comes to the new IPO, Interact opened with a 32% gap up with the respect to the issue price. So good listing gains coming in for that particular stock. But let's talk about the markets. 25,000, and clearly we had the metal stocks as well as PSU stocks helping the markets move on the higher side. Stocks like Hindalco as well as ONGC from the commodity space moved higher. Both firm crude prices, aluminum, steel prices have led to surge in metal and oil and gas stocks. Apart from that, HCL Technologies, NTPC were the other stocks wherein we saw over 3% of gains coming in. What did not do well in trade today was Hero MotoCorp, Adani Ports, Maruti. So essentially on the concerns that probable inventory buildup in the auto space, we had both Hero MotoCorp as well as Maruti slightly under pressure in trade. But talking about Nifty 500, we had some changes in the FTSE index, and stocks like Motilal Oswal, GSPL, all of these stocks are moving in trade almost 10% higher for both of these stocks. So what's also doing well is Honasa Consumer, one of the stocks we discussed on this closing show as well on Money Control, and the stock gained smartly almost 8% higher for that stock. Zydus Life, after the competitor launches one drug in the US markets which could potentially hamper their market share, Zydus saw some pressure in trade, almost 6% lower for that stock. Paytm and Money Control exclusively reported that SEBI has summoned Vijay Shekhar Sharma, beg your pardon, at the SEBI headquarters for talking about the IPO and some irregularities there. And after that Money Control report, the shares of Paytm saw almost 4% cut coming in. Also, Philip Carbon Black, that stock saw some profit taking, almost 3.5% lower in trade. But clearly, a great way for stocks like Reliance and HDFC Bank. Those stocks also supported the market rally. Today on our show, we have someone special from Punartha. Mr. Phadke joins in from that big PMS house. Mr. Phadke, welcome to the show. Devendra, let me begin by asking you with regards to the stock markets. We have seen an unprecedented rally in midcaps last year. This financial year also has opened on a very strong footing with Nifty surging over 25,000. As a PMS fund, what is your expectation in terms of returns for FY25, and how do you see the midcaps performing in the medium term?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me on the show. So as you said, we are in the kissing distances of all-time new highs for the market and the mid-cap index as a whole as well. In terms of the overall markets, we do believe that we'll continue to see decent amount of upside. So we do expect a lower double-digit kind of a return from here on for the market, driven by the FI flows, which should be coming in over a period because of the declining interest rates in the US. So the domestic flows have obviously been very, very strong, and we do expect that as well to continue. So at overall level, we do expect around lower double-digit kind of a return from the market over next year or so.
Okay. Devendra, you have tracked the global markets also, very closely. A lot of things are happening with respect to the yen carry trade, with the interest rates in the US expected to probably see a cut in late September or early September. So in terms of the global setup, do you think these disturbing times will probably keep the market volatile, or do you feel that the rate cut is more or less now priced in?
So I do agree that there will be some inherent volatility that you see, but having said that, eventually whenever we have seen global interest rates being cut in US, we have historically seen that the money flows eventually to the emerging markets. India is one of the best placed emerging markets in the world, with higher growth and a sustainable growth with substantial large GDP size in the emerging markets at this point point of time, and hence I do believe that we will actually be seeing inflows from FI gradually over a period. But in the near term, yes, given the fact that there is still uncertainty in terms of the quantum of interest rate cuts by US Fed, there can be some volatility which we actually see.
Absolutely. So the Fed action on the rate cut is something that we'll be watching out for. But Devendra, stay with us. We'll just come back to you. Before that, let's talk about Reliance Industries. And this is one stock which will be on our focus list. Obviously, this week, later this week, we have the big AGM from Reliance Industries and a lot of expectation from the AGM, because almost 5 years since they sold their stake in Reliance Jio as well as Reliance Retail. And today the media report is also suggesting that the new energies business also could see an IPO or a value unlocking at the group level. Obviously, a lot of brokerage have commented on the AGM with CLSA putting a outperform rating on Reliance Industries with a target of 3,300. Now CLSA says that the new energy business bought by the company is now close to reality, because the Gigafactory is expected to start operations from December 2024. So probably late this year you will see that Gigafactory kick in, and probably cash flows getting maintained from that particular business. So the AGM should provide more granularity on the business of the new energy, which is largely into solar as well as into green hydrogen, to shell out more details to the investors. On the other hand, we have Kotak, which has put a target price of 3,200 on Reliance, and they expect that the new energy business would be the center focus point of the AGM. They expect that the consolidated capex, which is reduced in the retail business, is positive for cash flows, because lower the capex, probably more the cash dispensation the company has. Obviously, the telecom business is something that we will be watching out for in terms of capex as well as value unlocking, according to Kotak. So that's Reliance for you. Ahead of the AGM, a lot of investor expectations, and as you can see on your screens that the shares of Reliance have seen a good appreciation over the last 1 month or so. Obviously, a standard disclaimer that Moneycontrol is a subsidiary of Reliance Industries on an indirect basis. So with that standard disclaimer, that is Reliance on your screens ahead of the AGM, which is expected later this week. Let's continue the conversation back with Devendra Phadke of Punartha. Devendra, you have seen a good performance in the past financial year with respect to your clients, good returns. Which are the sectors that you are right now focusing on? Is there any specific sector that you like at this point in time, which could see some good returns, or any contraband that you are currently having in your portfolio?
Yeah, so one of the major contra bets that we have is that we are actually not positive on the financial stocks in general. I think market as a whole has been betting a lot in terms of having higher weightage in terms of financials or large cap banks substantially doing well. We have stayed away from this trade for quite some time now, and we do continue to believe that we want to consciously remain underweight the financial sector as a whole. On the positive aspect, we do have exposure to some of the greener oil and gas energy stocks, such as probably gas transmission, which probably can actually do much better because of hybrids and some of these new themes which are coming into play, rather than auto guys directly moving from ICE engines to EV engines. So we do believe that hybrids will be the intermediary solution. We've also seen Bajaj Auto launch a two-wheeler bike which can run on CNG. So we do have exposure to gas plays, which we believe should continue to do well.
Right. Devendra, there have been always questions regarding stocks in the PSU space as well as the defense space, which are slightly higher in terms of valuations. Obviously, in the last few months, we have seen time correction happen in all of these stocks. Any specific view that you have on PSU stocks or PSU oil and gas, PSU banks, or PSU defense stocks?
Yeah, so as I said, within the oil and gas space, we do believe that gas companies, some of the PSU gas companies, should continue to do well and will be beneficiaries of the greener transition that we are going to see. In terms of PSU banks. As I mentioned earlier, we are underweight banks in general and have exposure to very small exposure to one of the NBFCs. That's it. In terms of the some of the capital goods plays that you have mentioned, we continue to be positive on railways and defense names. We do believe that the
Okay.
first leg of the entire rally that you are seeing, which is in terms of the stock price being driven by order book, has happened. Now it will be a combination of incremental order flows as well as the execution. So we are looking at stocks which have strong execution capabilities along with the ability to get incremental orders in place. But we are positive on that space.
Right. Devendra, two sectors which are very close to rural economy is auto as well as FMCG. Auto companies have been talking about as to how probably this festive season and the rural demand should pick up with the good rains. Similar is the case with FMCG, wherein they are expecting the volume growth to pick up in the rural markets. Tell us what is the view on auto sector, especially given the fact that there is still good amount of inventory levels at the dealerships, and with FMCG companies also Q1 was not great. Q2 probably would be muted as well. So do you think second half auto and FMCG companies should do well, or probably this is one space you would avoid at this point?
No, so, in terms of the in terms of auto industry, we would rather like to play it through auto ancillaries. We do believe that there are
Correct.
a lot of auto ancillaries on the in the market which are actually gaining market share from unorganized players. Also, a lot of places the content per vehicle is actually increasing as these guys start getting and supplying things into hybrids as well as EVs. So we do believe that it is much easier and better to play it in terms of auto ancillaries. Having said that, in terms of the rural specific question, we do believe that the second half will be substantially better in terms of rural recovery, even for the autos, especially the two-wheelers and the tractor segment, which we believe will be substantially better. In terms of FMCG, we think that the penetration has actually happened across a lot of FMCG players, especially the large caps, and hence we have tried to stay away from them. Places incrementally where there is a penetration game along with the rural recovery, we like those kinds of FMCG players, which are a bit of small caps or mid caps FMCG, or where they can actually be doing newer product launches. But large cap FMCG is what we are still avoiding.
Absolutely, and we appreciate your views, Mr. Fadke. Thank you so much for speaking to Money Control, and we hope to see you very often on our platforms. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for having me.
So that was Devendra Fadke from Punartha talking about the kind of volatile times that we could have due to the rate cuts or the anticipated rate cuts moving ahead. And also obviously the entire mid cap and small cap index specifically looks good, and obviously expect some medium term short returns in that particular segment as well. With that, it's a wrap on Money Control. Do see us on our Money Control app, as well as stay tuned to us, our website, for all your business news and updates. Thank you so much.